Good morning. Hello, family and friends of graduating class 008. This is a good-looking group of guys out here we have. We're gonna put them through. They've been here 15 weeks with us, and we've been excited that they've been here. Today, we get to finally send them away, and what's really funny about this class, all semester, due to COVID precautions, they've been having to wear masks every day in our main building with all the bosses and all the people around, and they've actually done a pretty good job. So I waited till the day before they were going to graduate, walked into the room and said, "Hey fellas, you can take your mask off now." And they all just gave me the stank eye. I don't understand why they did that. But anyway, guys, we're happy you're here. Family, friends, we're happy you're here. Stay with us, because we want to talk about a little bit is that the electric power program has been at Teague since 1948. And we've been doing electric power training for many, many years. 3 years ago, Ron Petty, our division director, who is here also, and we'll introduce Ron here in just a second, came to Lynn and I and said, "You've got exactly 6 months to build a lineman academy, a line worker academy." And we went, "What?" He said, "No, we're going to get this done." So we did that. And the first class commenced in, Philip helped me here, it was June of 2018, and we had 2 students. We were happy. We were happy with 2 students. But what we found is, as we started moving on, the word started getting out, and we're glad that this bunch came in with 19 students this time. We're graduating out, and we're happy that they're here. I'd like to take a few minutes and introduce Ron Petty. Ron's going to come up and give an opening remark in our prayer to get us started. Ron?
Howdy. So, welcome to our graduating class of graduating class number 8 in the Lineman Academy. It's kind of funny this morning. Some guys had walked in the building, and Donna looks at them. I kind of look at them, and finally she's like, "Are they with the Lineman Academy?" I said, "I think so. We've just never seen their face." So it is. Well, in most cases, it's good to see your face. Some of you may want to consider wearing a mask from now on. I'm just saying. But you know, after a short 15 weeks and more than a few restrictions, you're here. You've done it. And I can't tell you how proud I am of each of you, for our instructors, for the program. It's been exciting watching it grow. Y'all are going to embark on a journey now of your career, and you're going to do great things. So I just wanted to welcome you here. Those joining us virtually, welcoming them also. And if you would, bow with me and we'll say an opening prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for this chance to come together and celebrate what these young men have done. Thank you for watching over them and keeping them safe. I pray that you be with them as they begin their journey into their career. Just always keep them close, protect them. Thank you for the drive and the ambition you gave them to get here. And thank you for the families that have been such a big part of their lives up to this point. Just pray that you continue to be with us. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Y'all see that I almost walked into the pole. Y'all were paying attention, I could tell. So real quickly, what I'd like to do is take a few minutes and introduce our training staff. One, Philip Mullen, sitting over to my left. We're going to have Philip come up and talk here in just a minute, and I'll tell you why. On the other side, we have Kevin Moore and Will. Y'all stand up. There you go. These are our Cowboys in the room today, so we're happy y'all are here. But these guys have been the ones that spent the last 15 weeks with these young men and giving them all the knowledge and the things that they need to move on in the next journey of their life. So fellas, we appreciate what y'all have done for us, and take a week off, because we've got another class coming in 2 weeks. So that's my gift to you. You get a week off. How's that? But thank you again for doing that. The next speaker we have this morning, every program has a bittersweet moment. For you guys, it's been bittersweet because you, like Ron said, you had to go through all the restrictions, had to wear your mask, you got in trouble for not wearing your mask, you had to work in the rain, you had to do all these things. Well, as individuals, you overcame that. As programs, we grow with the instructors and the staff that we have with us. We've had Philip Mullen with us for the better part of 4 years, almost 5 years now. You've been over here almost as long as I have. Philip has made the decision to retire this year at the end of this class. So Philip, if you would, I'd love for you to come up, speak to these young men and their parting wisdom from the parting instructor. I would like for you to do that.
right, guys. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you for finishing the course. Uh, you really is something that's not all that terribly usual, is when a group starts together and the whole group finishes together. We have a problem that's okay, I'm sorry. This is way out of my comfort zone, believe me. If I look nervous, I am. But a lot of these schools will start and guys go, no, this is not what I want, or they can't do it. You are going into a group of, or workforce that most people can't do it, and a lot of people won't do it. You're a small community, very highly trained young men. You need to be proud of that. You will be sought after. We started, like Bill said, we started in 2018 with 2 students, and we weren't sure they were going to be 2. And we were told if we can get 2, we will run the class. Since then, today is 19, and with a total of 52 students that we've put through this school, plus we have people standing in line to get into this school. It is a good school. You are well trained. And I know sometimes that I'm sure you felt like you were drinking out of a fire hose, as we put a lot of stuff on you and a lot of information in you. And I wrote down a few things that you were sitting there talking, and you're sitting in that classroom, and Philip's talking about Y and delta and series, parallel, true power, parent power, real power, zone A, zone B, or was that phase A and B, ferro resonance. I can't even spell it, much less explain to you what it is. So I know we put a lot of stuff on you, but you got to remember, as instructors, every one of you that's been here with the instructors, our goal is not to make you proficient in but we want to expose you to a whole lot of stuff, and we've done that. It's a whole lot like working with a jigsaw puzzle. If you think about it, what we've done is when you was a kid, you got a jigsaw puzzle and you put it on the table. The first thing you did is you went through there and you found all the edges that were straight. They went to the outside. They were the boundaries. You found those. The rest of them were just dumped in the middle, and you'd start putting it together, and you put a little bit down here, and you'd kind of start getting a picture, and then you'd start working at this one up here, and you'd look at it and you go, well, how does this connect to this one down here? It doesn't make any sense. Put a little bit more here, and all of a sudden it starts kind of coming together. The problem with this jigsaw puzzle, you'll never get finished. There will always be something else that you need to learn. Learn the job. Learn it as well as you can. I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed doing this. I worked 40 years as an active crew foreman, but this last 10 years, with not necessarily all here, but the last part of it here, has been absolutely the best part of my career. I'm not going to let you go by without talking about safety. Our industry is totally built on safety. And what I want you to do for me is, when you leave and go out there and go to work, I want you to do what's safe because it's the right thing to do. Not because the safety guys are, not because you might get caught, or you get laid off for a day or two. Don't do that. Do the safety because it's the right thing to do at that time. The big jobs and the little jobs, they all count. I look at this class right here, as I do with every class, and I think, okay, 20 years, where are you going to be? And I know, I've seen it, guys. I've been in this business for 50 years. You'll be running the power company. You will be in charge of people's lives, of a lot of money, and you'll be in charge of keeping the lights on. I need you to do your job well. I need you to study the whole time. That jigsaw is never going to be completed. It'll always change. It'll always be new equipment. There'll always be new people. I also want to know one other thing. In 20 years from now, there's a young man that's born somewhere today. Don't know his name. Don't know where he's at. But I know in about 20 years, he's going to be standing in front of you, asking you to help him be a lineman. And I know that's true because you're standing in front of me. I don't want anybody hurt. All right, and most of you know, this is pretty much the end of what I'm going to get to do. I am, at my request, I'm asking Teeks to severely curtail my needs around here. It is not because I don't enjoy my job. It's not that I don't want to do it. It's just time for me to move on a little bit. So if there's a goodbye in this, I don't know exactly what it would be. I just hope that you're as happy with your beginning as I am with my end. And I'm going to be looking forward. I will be back. I will be checking on you. The other thing that I find it's a little bit sad is this is the last time you will all be together. You will run across each other many times in your career, but you will always remember each other. And if you hear about somebody getting hurt, first thing you want to know, was it one of y'all? Anybody getting hurt is bad for our business anytime, anywhere. But you have a deep bond between the 19 of y'all. And the first thing you're going to want to know is it was one of Teeks' guys. So I want to wish you fortune. I want to wish you success. But most of all, I want to wish you safety. I have enjoyed it beyond words. I thank my staff for the support that they give us. I knew about Teeks for several years. I never really thought I'd get an opportunity to come back and teach as much as I have. And it is enjoyable. I suggest you have a good career, come back and teach another kid. I wish you success. Be safe. Thank you.
Hey, Philip, I think after 50 years, it's okay to retire now. It's okay after 50 years, you can relax. We got enough out of you. But anyway, again, we're bittersweet for us, but it has been a good run. And guys, I hope you learned something from Philip, and I think his message is pretty spot on. You're a family now, and you got to remember that you're a family, and you're part of our family. So just know that that's still there. But I think his message is spot on, taking care of you, taking care of those that are out there. Our next speaker I'd like to introduce to you hails from Lubbock, Texas. He's our Executive Associate Division Director over at Emergency Services Training Institute, which is a sister division to us. Chris and I have been working together since he came on board. He started out as a program director, and we've done leadership training together. We've had meetings together. We've fought with each other. We've loved each other. And it's just one of those things that, as we move forward, how things happen. But his career started in the fire service from Lubbock, Texas. He was with the Lubbock Fire Department. Ended up being was a battalion chief, then ended assistant chief, I believe, if I remember correctly. And Chris, again, has been with the agency a long time. Chris, I'd like for you to come up and have a moment to speak to the young men, please.
All right, good morning. It's a distinct pleasure of mine to be standing in front of you this morning as graduates of this academy. I was talking to other folks and doing a little bit of research, and I understand that this is the largest academy that's graduated from the Lineman's Academy so far. So congratulations to you for that. But as Philip said here, and a couple of things that he talked about kind of play into what I wanted to talk to you about this morning, because this isn't the pinnacle of your success. You got a long way to go. And as Bill said about my career, I did 27 years with the Lubbock Fire Department. I thought that was a great big deal. That's kind of in the rearview mirror now. Some of it I really do remember. The people that I worked with I remember, but I keep looking what's in front of me each and every day. And status quo cannot rule your day. And if you think that this is the pinnacle, I'm sorry. I'm going to challenge you today, but I'm going to ask a question of you first. How many of you have experienced fear in anything that you've done here so far and in your career so far? Can I see your hand? Would you show me? I'm going to raise my hand. I guarantee you my hand's in there pretty high. I use the term fear. It's an acronym. False expectations appearing real. Most of the time what fear is a vivid imagination of ours, and it gives us this vivid picture of something that we think is going to happen, but it's only a perception. It's not real. But it's so real in our mind, it becomes an obstacle to us, and it keeps us from moving forward in our careers and in our lives. And so I want to challenge you today, don't let this false expectation that appears real. And what brings that on is we are human and we make mistakes. We fail. And if there's one of you in here that can say, I've never failed, that I've never made a mistake, I need to talk to you when we get done here today. Because I'm going to tell you, it's those things that happen in our life each and every day that are going to challenge us as we move forward. And it's going to challenge you. And Philip made the comment, you got to do things safely every day. And some days when you make a mistake, it's not always the most safe thing that you've done. Now, it's what you do with that failure and what you do with that mistake is what's going to help you or propel you in your career. Because as Philip stated, he sees you down the line in a number of years where you're going to be leading power agencies. You're going to be leading other people. Well, you can't let fear, you can't let the mistakes, you can't let the failures that you have keep you from achieving that success. And that's the essence of my message to you this morning. I want to give you a quote from John Maxwell. I read a lot of his leadership books. I love listening to him. When I was baptized as a young Christian, he was in the church that night, and he asked me if I wanted to say anything, and I wouldn't. Anybody care to realize why I wouldn't say anything? Because I was scared to get up and say something in front of people that night. I'll tell you what, I don't fear that anymore. I don't fear standing in front of you right now because I have a message. You're going to have a message, but you got to deliver that message. Here's what he says. To succeed in life, you will first have to conquer your inner fear of failure. Win the battle raging within yourself. No matter how many times you fail, do not let that discourage you. The first thing that you need to do is conquer your fear of failure. So, how many of you have heard of WD-40? How many of you use WD-40 every day? If you haven't, get you some. WD-40, do you know how they got the term WD-40? So here's the deal. There's this company back in 1953 called the Rocket Chemical Company, and the founder's name was Norm Larson. He was working with 3 other people. They're trying to come up with a water displacement material for the aerospace industry, a lubricant. And they've tried 39 different times to come up with a formulation that will do what they want it to do. Well, wouldn't you know it? After 39 unsuccessful attempts, the 40th try, they achieved what they were wanting to come up with. Now, let me just ask you this. If you failed at something, how many of you are willing to try 39 more times to try to get to something successful? You know, I might try something 2 or 3 times and say, okay, I'm tired, I don't want to do that anymore. But 39 unsuccessful attempts, and now on the 40th try, they came up with water displacement 40. Hence the name WD-40. So I think that's pretty cool. They were willing to overcome these obstacles and tried 40 different times until they got to the successful formulation. Now today, this company, WD-40, has a $1.3 billion valuation and boasts more than 2,000 uses for the product called WD-40. 39 failures before they got to success. That's amazing to me. Don't let those obstacles that are in your way keep you from succeeding. But I've got one that's even more telling than that. How many of you have heard of Thomas Edison? So Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. Y'all are working in the power industry. We're still powering light bulbs today. They may not look like the incandescent bulb that Thomas Edison came up with, but the light bulb nonetheless. So Thomas Edison, in terms of trying to come up with the light bulb, tried 10,000 different times before he succeeded to come up with the light bulb. Again, WD-40, that seemed like a monumental task to me after 39 tries and still don't have anything. But that's phenomenal. But let me just tell you a little bit about Thomas Edison. And I learned a little bit more in my research when I was sitting here thinking about talking to you today and overcoming obstacles and overcoming failures in your life. So I want to read this to you right quick. It says, one day as a little boy, Thomas Edison got back home from school and gave a paper to his mom. He said to her, "Mother, my teacher gave this paper to me and revealed to me that just you are the only one that's supposed to look at this." What does it say? Her eyes filled with tears, she read the letter anyone can hear about her boy. She told him this: "Your son is a genius. This school is not the right place for him. And there are no efficient teachers to train him, so you need to train him yourself." That's what his mother told him at the time. That the teacher told him that your son's a genius. We don't have the capability to teach your son. Edison had only gone to school for 3 months, and because his mom didn't put him back in school, this was a turning point in his life, and this is where he took up an interest in physics and mathematics and learning how to invent and do different things. He goes on and he's a prolific inventor. And at a point in his career, in about December of 1914, there's a massive explosion and fire in this factory in New Jersey. Well, Thomas Edison owned 7 different buildings inside this factory where he was doing a lot of his invention. 8 fire departments showed up to try to put out this fire, and they had no success in putting out the fire. And he's standing there watching all of this and watching his inventions, a lot of the work that he's done, all burned to the ground. His son walks up there, he's 24 years old, and he comes over and he stands next to his dad, and he says, "Dad, man, what are we going to do?" He says, "Charlie, go get your mom and your friends." His son looked a little bit perplexed. He says, "Why?" He says, "Hey, this is a pretty spectacular event. You need to bring them over here. They're probably not ever going to see another fire like this in your lifetime." So, okay. Here's the deal. His son said, "Dad, everything you've worked for, all of your hopes and dreams are all in that factory right now, and they're burning to the ground. What do you think about that? Are you not torn up by that?" Here's what he said to his son. "Son, our entire factory is being burned down to the ashes, and that's it. All the mistakes we have made so far in that factory are also being burnt down to ashes as well." But this is the key thing here, and this was the moniker of Thomas Edison's life, because he never quit. "We will start all over again tomorrow, son. We will start all over again tomorrow." He was not afraid that he had lost everything that he had worked for all the way up to this point. That failure did not keep him down. That mistake, whatever the case may be there, he was not going to let that be the rule of the day. That false expectation appearing real, that everything was gone, that was not true. He bounced back and he continued to invent. So let me tell you the rest of the story on the note that the teacher gave Thomas Edison to take home and give to his mother. It says, many years later, after Edison's mother passed away, he became one of the greatest inventors of the century. He was in the kitchen one day looking in the cupboard, and he found that very letter that had been given, or that he had given to his mother. And it was that letter that his childhood teacher had written to him, or written to his mother, that he opened and saw for the very first time with his own eyes. Here's what the letter said. School cannot allow your son to attend classes anymore. He is mentally impaired. He should be cast off into the country. We're not going to do anything. We're not going to teach him here. As Philip stated a while ago, we don't need to be cast off. We don't know what our potential really is. Because here's the thing. Thomas Edison's mother believed he was a genius, and she treated him as such. And guess what? Her fear of failure of her own son could not be overcome. She took that story and made that story that he was a genius a true story. False expectations appearing real for her were nothing. She made history. He made history. My question to you, let me find my question to you. Are you going to let fear, false expectations appearing real, keep you from your best self? Please don't do that. That's only a perception. It's not a reality. You can't do that. You might be the next WD-40. You might be the next Thomas Edison. That's what I'd like to see. I bet that's what Philip would like to see. He's already stated that. Just don't let your failures and mistakes cripple you. Let them be bumps in giving up. The most certain way to success is always to try one more time. I appreciate the fact that you allowed me to speak to you this morning, but this isn't about me. This is about you. Congratulations on your success today, but more importantly, congratulations on your future success, because as Philip stated earlier, you're going to do great things. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. Another great message, guys, something to think about as you're looking forward. I know as you came into this class, because I watched some of y'all when you first started climbing, and you just had that look on your face. Parents, I'm not even going to describe the look to you, but you had that look on your face. But this week when you were down cleaning that line for us, I saw nothing but confidence when y'all were hollering back at each other, making that happen. So again, a great growth in not only you as a person, but in your future. So every year, or every class, I say every year, we take, Bill comes out and we take a few minutes. Sometimes y'all know about it, sometimes you don't. We put together a little video and slideshow that shows your growth through the 15 weeks. So I don't want to hear, some of you may have one of those pictures in here. So just enjoy what we did for you. Parents and family, friends, take a look at what they've been doing for the last 15 weeks. Go ahead, Sam. Huh? Did y'all like that? Nice video we put together for you. Do you remember those cold days you were out there? Fingers are cold. Just think what you get to do next year when you're out on those crews and it's minus, what was it this year, minus 8 degrees? Yeah, so minus 8 degrees and you're trying to keep my power on. I'll bring you a Coke when we do that. So anyway, guys, again, we appreciate everything you're doing. What we'd like to do now for the family and friends, Miss Christy, you ready? I didn't introduce Christy earlier, and I should have, and shame on me, so I'm going to introduce you now. Christy she's the boss of the program. She's we call her the mom and everything else, but she's the one that keeps all these young men in line. She makes sure they're doing what they're doing. She keeps our instructors in line. That's her job. We just love Christy to death, and Christy, we appreciate everything you do for us also, because it's a full-time job just keeping up with these guys, so we appreciate you doing that. So at this time, we'd like to start our commencement and start passing out some certificates. These certificates that you have earned, and then we'll bring Ron up for some closing remarks. But if we would have this front row stand up and come across, and we'll have you come up. And family and friends, this is a time when if you want to start taking pictures on YouTube and doing whatever you need to, this is the time you can do it. Philip, if you would come up here with me, sir. Philip, if you'll come up here with me, sir. Because this is you get to shake hands with are you all right? Shake hands with this group of young men that are going to be leaving us here pretty soon. So as I call your name, if you would, you can visit with Chris as you come by and Ron as you come by, and then come up and get your certificate. Grant Levy Bowman. Yay! Hunter Shamlis. James Clevenger. Lane Cockrell. What's up, buddy? Cole Dixon. Matthew Engel. You ready, brother? Christopher Games Enriquez. Just for you, man. Brendan Guillen. Thank you, sir. Hartman Samuel Lawson. Yeah. Cody Moody. Logan Oberman. Hey, Logan. Look good climbing that pole up there, son. That's a nice job, buddy. Andrew Pitts. Jacob Scott. Tyler Scott. Ray Sevilla. Ray. It was I told you, brother. Tyler Telford. Dawson Tidwell. Trevor Ward. And last but certainly not least, Anthony Williams. So as they're walking through, shaking hands, family and friends, we've got some pictures we're taking back in the back. We would have loved for you to have been here, and I tried to convince Ron. I said, we give them 2 days notice, they can make it. And we chose to leave it online. But I was giving Ron a hard time about that yesterday when we got the word that we could take the mask off and social distancing was not through, but it was not rigid either. So we were pretty happy about that. So we're still waiting on the guys to come back around. They're getting their picture with their certificate in the back. Some of them have the fake smile, some of them have the real smile, but it's all good. Huh? At least we can see them smile. Exactly. It's kind of interesting because for like Ryan was saying, for the first 14 weeks, they would walk through the building, we'd be like, the only way we knew they were Lineman Academy students because your shirt. We couldn't tell the difference. But now if you walk through without a Lineman Academy shirt on now, I'm going to have to stop you and say, who are you? What are you doing? What do you want? So that's what we're going to have to do. So I'd like to do is bring Ron up for some remarks to finish our morning, and then we'll close out the day.
What do we do after this? What's after this?
Me.
Okay. You know, you had some really good words of wisdom shared with you earlier. You know, Philip, he's at the end of the race. Y'all are at the starting line of the race. And I'd never thought about what he shared with you. Somewhere right now, somebody's being born that you will work with and train in the future. And that's an awesome responsibility. As far as the video, how many people y'all know can do that? Not very many. How many of y'all could do that when you got here? How many of y'all could climb a pole when you got here? That's what I like watching the most is if I come by here when it's first getting started and everybody's real hesitant going up the pole, and by the end, like Bill said, and by the way, thank you for taking care of those lines for us so we have to relocate. And you see guys stretched out and laid out and working from a pole like I would work from the ground. It's pretty amazing the growth that you've made. And what I usually talk about here kind of ties in with a little bit of what Philip was talking about and definitely what Chris was talking about. And it's not that we want to be downers, but mine has to do with mistakes also. If you make a mistake, own it. Okay? Don't be that guy that tries to shift blame and shove it off on somebody else because nobody wants to be with them. And everybody makes mistakes. The only employee that does not make a mistake is an employee that never does anything. And they're not going to work for me very long. Okay, we all make them, you know. So own it. Yep, that was me, but I won't do it again. I mean, because that's what we do. And don't let a mistake define you. That's just a stepping stone along the way to what you're going to become. And we all have them. We all, you know. And right then, you're going to feel like it's the worst thing in your life. Later on, you look back and you laugh about it. You know, so. You know, so that's kind of what I had is that, you know, if somebody would share that with me early in my career, I think I would have done much better than I did. You know, nobody's perfect. We like to think we are, but y'all are going to do some great stuff, and you're going to go a long way. And I'm glad that we got to be a part of it. And when you get your goodie bags with everything, there's a coin in there. These are called challenge coins, and this is a challenge coin for the Lineman Academy. And there's a lot of different history and stories about where challenge coins came from, but they all generally agree that it goes back to the medieval times when you had kings and kingdoms, and they had the knights that defended the kingdom. And those kings didn't always have the resources to pay these knights, but they'd give them a token, what we call a challenge coin now. They give them a token identifying that they're from the king. Anytime they travel through that kingdom, if they needed food, if they needed water, if they needed shelter, they just show that coin and the people would provide it for them. And so that kind of went on and became part of military history and things like that. And it's a lot of different areas now, and we have the challenge coin. And you can try to present this and get some food, shelter, or clothing out of it, probably not going to work. So what do these mean nowadays? This to me, it tells me, because I have several different Teeks challenge coins, and I've always got one with me. It tells me I'm part of something bigger than me. It tells me I'm part of an organization that cares about me and has done a lot of good things for me. And you need to know that you're part of Teeks. You'll always be part of Teeks. I do hope some of y'all come back to me instructors for us in the future. But anytime you're out there, you feel like you're all alone, just reach out for that coin, because you know you can always reach back here. You've got instructors that pour a lot into you, and they'll be there in the future if you need it. You've got a network of friends now that you can reach out to if you're struggling. So I hope you'll hang on to it and hope you keep it with you, because like I say, it means you're part of something bigger, and you're part of the Teeks family now. So with that, I'll turn it over to Bill. Congratulations, good luck, let us know how you do.
Can I add one thing to that? Is that okay? What Ron's talking about, there's one piece. always be that guy. What does that mean? There's going to be a boss. And I point at these two over here because they would be my bosses. They're going to walk up to you and say, I need you to get this done. Some people go, oh, sir, I don't know. You be the guy that says, okay, what you want me to do? Doesn't matter what it is. And you're going to have that time, you're going to be thinking to yourself, I don't really know how to do that. Just say, okay. As soon as the boss walks off, you grab your buddy and say, how are we going to do that? Come up with a plan. Be that guy. That's important. Something to think about. Never back away from a challenge. Because if old folks like us backed away from challenges, we wouldn't probably be here today. We just wouldn't be here today. So take on the challenges. Be the guy that says, okay, what do you know? Now, if it's unsafe, don't do it. But if it's something you can figure out, and as Philip said, do it safely, be efficient, figure it out, be that guy. With that being said, family and friends, this is going to stop our commencement ceremonies for class 008. We appreciate you being with us. Folks in the back, we appreciate you being here to actually see the kids graduate. I say kids because you're younger than me. Family and friends? Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, y'all need to tell them happy. I think that's a good point, because without those folks that are watching right now, y'all wouldn't be here. Just saying. Especially if they're still financially supporting you. But we appreciate what you did for these young men, and they've got a great path ahead of them. Thank you again for being with us. Guys, good luck in your journey and your future coming forward. And I won't be here in 20 years to hire you as an instructor, but Kevin will be. Thanks a lot again. Have a great day from Teeks College Station.